Pathology of adrenal cortex. First, let's see about the structure of adrenal cortex. It is made up of three layers: zona fasciculata, zona glomerulosa, and zona reticularis. The zona fasciculata produces glucocorticoids which have an effect on glucose metabolism. The glucocorticoid is cortisol mainly. So this elevates the blood glucose level. The zona glomerulosa secretes mineralocorticoids. The main is aldosterone. This regulates the salt and water balance. Third is zona reticularis, which produces sex corticoids, that is estrogen and androgens. The adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH secreted stimulates the cortisol and the androgen secretion, whereas the angiotensin II stimulates the aldosterone secretion. Diseases of the adrenal cortex include hyperadrenalism and hypoadrenalism. First, let's see about hyperadrenalism. This includes Cushing syndrome, hyperaldosteronism, and adrenogenital or virilizing syndrome. In Cushing syndrome, there is increased cortisol levels. In hyperaldosteronism, as the name suggests, there is increased aldosterone level, and in adrenogenital syndrome, there is increased androgens. So out of this, let's see the Cushing syndrome first, which is hypercortisolism. There is increased cortisol secretion. Etiology of Cushing syndrome. There can be exogenous cause or endogenous cause. The exogenous cause is administration of exogenous steroids. The endogenous causes can further be divided into ACTH dependent, which constitute about 80%, and ACTH independent about 20%. So the ACTH dependent causes are pituitary hypersecretion of ACTH causing Cushing's disease, ectopic ACTH secretion by paraneoplastic syndromes like small cell carcinoma lung and carcinoid bronchi, and the ACTH independent causes are adrenal adenoma and adrenocortical carcinoma. So the ACTH dependent causes also includes pituitary hyperplasia or adenomas producing Cushing's disease. Morphology of Cushing's disease. Morphology of pituitary and the adrenal glands. So the pituitary has Crook-Hyaline change, and the adrenal morphology. In case of exogenous glucocorticoids, there is cortical atrophy. In case of ACTH dependent cases, there is diffuse hyperplasia of the adrenal cortex, and there can be carcinoma of the adrenal cortex. Clinical features of Cushing syndrome. There is weight gain. This is because the hyperglycemia due to increased cortisol secretion increases the level of insulin, which is an anabolic hormone. So this causes fat deposition in the trunk, causing truncal obesity, fat deposition in the face leading to moon face, and the fat deposition in the neck and the back leading to buffalo hump. The second clinical feature is hypertension. Third is muscle weakness. As there is decreased muscle mass in the extremities, it leads to proximal limb weakness. And the fourth clinical feature is the presence of purple abdominal striae. These are stretch marks which cause bruise in the abdomen. Fifth is osteoporosis. Sixth is hirsutism and mental disturbances. These are all the clinical features of Cushing's syndrome. Lab diagnosis includes detection of serum ACTH levels, serum cortisol level, and dexamethasone suppression test. Let's see the dexamethasone suppression test. First, in case of pituitary Cushing's disease, there's increased ACTH from the pituitary. When the exogenous glucocorticoids are given, this leads to negative feedback and thereby causes decreased ACTH levels. Whereas in ectopic ACTH secretion, there is increased ACTH, and when the exogenous glucocorticoids are given, there is no negative feedback. So the ACTH level still remains on the higher side. Third is due to adrenal cortical tumors. There is decreased ACTH secretion due to feedback inhibition of the pituitary. Previously we saw about the hypercortisolism, which is the Cushing syndrome. Now let's see about the hyperaldosteronism. So here there is increased aldosterone secretion which is not under the control of pituitary. Etiology for hyperaldosteronism can either be primary or secondary. Primary hyperaldosteronism is due to idiopathic hyperaldosteronism, IHA. Here there is hyperplasia of the adrenal gland due to KCNJ5 gene mutation, and the other cause is adrenocortical neoplasm, which is Conn syndrome. The secondary etiology for hyperaldosteronism is activation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So there is decreased renal perfusion, hypovolemia, pregnancy. In pregnancy, the estrogen induces increase in plasma renin substrate. So all these causes lead to secondary hyperaldosteronism. Clinical features of hyperaldosteronism. First is hypertension. This leads to left ventricular hypertrophy, which further leads to diastolic failure and myocardial infarction. Can also cause stroke. Next feature is hypokalemia. Loss of potassium in the urine, due to which there is weakness, paresthesia, visual disturbances and tetany. Third is adrenogenital syndrome. Etiology for this is virilizing carcinomas and CAH, which stands for congenital adrenal hyperplasia. So the congenital adrenal hyperplasia is a genetic defect which causes decreased cortisol levels. So there is compensatory increase in ACTH secretion, and this deviates the pathway towards increased androgen production. This is congenital adrenal hyperplasia leading to adrenogenital syndrome. Clinical features of adrenogenital syndrome include masculinization in females, that is hirsutism, ambiguous genitalia and oligomenorrhea, and precocious puberty in the males. Now let's see about hypoadrenalism. There is decreased production of glucocorticoids or mineralocorticoids. Etiology for hypoadrenalism. First is primary adrenocortical insufficiency, that is hypoadrenalism, and second is secondary adrenocortical insufficiency due to hypothalamo-pituitary dysfunction. First, let's see about the primary adrenocortical insufficiency. It can either be acute or chronic. Acute adrenocortical insufficiency. In this case, there is sudden loss of adrenocortical function. For example, in Waterhouse-Friderichsen syndrome. This is nothing but there is bilateral hemorrhagic infarct of the adrenal cortex, most commonly caused due to Neisseria meningitidis infection. Clinical features of Waterhouse-Friderichsen syndrome includes hypotension, shock, fatigue, weakness and GI disturbances. Next is chronic adrenocortical insufficiency. This is nothing but Addison's disease. There is decreased glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids with increase in ACTH secretion. Etiology for chronic adrenocortical insufficiency includes autoimmune adrenalitis, tuberculosis, AIDS, amyloidosis and metastatic cancer from the lung and the breast. Clinical features are weakness, fatigue, tiredness, gastrointestinal manifestations like nausea, vomiting, weight loss, and anorexia. And there's hyperpigmentation of the skin and the mucosal surface. This is because there's decreased cortisol level, which stimulates ACTH secretion, and this ACTH in turn stimulates the melanocytes, leading to hyperpigmentation of the skin and the mucosal surface. The other clinical features are electrolyte disturbances. There is hyperkalemia, increased potassium levels, hyponatremia, decreased sodium levels, and hypovolemia associated with hypotension. Also, there is hypoglycemia. Next, let's see about the secondary adrenal insufficiency due to hypothalamo-pituitary dysfunction. There is decreased ACTH production. Etiology for this is the loss of pituitary function, like in case of sarcoidosis, tuberculosis, pyogens, fungus, AIDS, trauma, surgery, radiation therapy, and tumors. The difference between the primary and secondary adrenocortical insufficiency. A primary adrenocortical insufficiency has no response to ACTH, whereas the secondary responds to ACTH. There is hyperpigmentation seen in case of primary adrenocortical insufficiency, but there is no hyperpigmentation in secondary adrenocortical insufficiency. Electrolyte abnormalities are present in primary, but they are absent, that is, the electrolyte levels are balanced in secondary adrenocortical insufficiency as it is not regulated by ACTH. Morphology of adrenal cortex in case of adrenal insufficiency. First, in primary autoimmune adrenalitis, there is irregular shrinkage of the adrenal glands with lymphocytic infiltration. Next, in secondary hypoadrenalism, the adrenal cortex is atrophic and it is yellow in color with normal medulla. Third is due to tuberculosis or any fungal disease. There is granulomatous inflammatory reaction. And the next is in case of any metastatic cancer, the adrenals are enlarged. This is all about the pathology of adrenal cortex. Thank you.